Now from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Thee, coming to you from, well, this is the band room at Spirit Lake High School, and just worked out that I could talk to the band director, Tyler Pedersen. We're right in your realm right here, my friend.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You know, I was just thinking to myself, I've been watching you work with soloists for the contest coming up here, and I was thinking, you know, I remember when Tyler was performing in these things, and in marching band and everything. Did you know you wanted to become a teacher early on?
Yeah, you know, my story I think is probably a little bit unique, but I made the decision in 7th grade that this was what I was going to do, and I made the decision that I was going to be here doing it.
And that was my next question, Tyler. Did you have any dream that I'm going to come back to my alma mater?
I did, and that, you know, I suppose when you're young, you know, you assume that everything just always works out how you plan it. I was just one of the fortunate few for whom that worked out. Yeah,
well, we're fortunate to have you here as well. Well, let's talk about it. It's coming up here on the 26th of this month. It is the Iowa High School Music Association Solo and Ensemble Contest. Going to be right in the Sammy? Is that where it's held, or is it in the band room here, or where?
Great question. So we're going to have, during the course of the day, there will probably be about 350 performances that will happen here in the high school facility. Okay. And we're going to have 7 centers throughout that day, 3 of which will be vocal, 3 of which will be instrumental, and 1 that will be part of the day, which is strings. Okay. We don't have a string program, but some of the schools that will be attending do. Okay. And so the performance sites will be, there will be 1 in the Sammy Center, but like the band room here will be 1, the choir room, which is right next door to us, will be 1, and then there'll be some other classrooms located throughout the building that will be performance rooms that day. Wow.
And, you know, I was saying, watching you work with the students, number one, how do they pick their pieces? I'm just curious of, for different instruments, different vocalists, how do they pick their pieces? Do they get help, or is it something they want to do?
Sure. For a more advanced student that is shown that they're going to commit and be willing to put in the time, you know, when we get to a certain level, sometimes I'll encourage the kids to do some research. You know, we look at recommended lists. Lots of collegiate programs will have on their website. The Saxophone Studio will have a suggested list of literature that you should play if you're going to audition or things like that. So we let the experts filter through and find the best things. So we do some of that. You know, all school band programs and choir programs have a huge library of literature that's collected over the years. And so the majority of people, you know, the director and the student meet for lessons, and you know, I think teachers would tell you that we're using these things as a vehicle for teaching. Right. And so we were trying to find something that accentuates the students' strengths while still challenging them in areas that need improvement. And so that's kind of where we go as we select things.
Yeah. And you were saying, as a teaching tool, it's not so much the performance in the solo that is the teaching moment. It's the time leading up to it and what they do with it.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, the thing that is so interesting, and as a performer yourself, Jeff, you know, you have some understanding of the time that we put into it, and whether it's in music or in drama or speech or cheerleading or any sport or any activity of any kind, you know, the reality is the majority of our work and the effort that goes into that thing is not at that one moment in time when everyone's there to see you. And so, you know, we really try to stress the importance of, we're doing this as a way for you to improve yourself. If you want to become better, this is one of the best opportunities we have during the year to do that.
Right, yeah, and you had said that a lot of these kids have been working on their pieces for this since like January. Yep. Yeah, so a lot of rehearsal and perfecting their craft, working on improving their craft.
Well, and I'm sure this isn't the case for you, Jeff, but I have found that sometimes young people tend to procrastinate. And so one of the other maybe broader lessons that we can learn is that taking on something like this that is a challenge is very manageable if we can divide it into manageable steps. And so time is our friend.
Yes. Also a teaching moment.
Correct.
You know, it's not just the notes and sharps and that, but the preparation and using that time properly.
Kids are busy people too, and those that find the inner fortitude, I guess, to start right away and use all their time, find that it's a pretty manageable process. Those that find time right at the end to learn their piece, they find that it can be a little hard sometimes.
That's right. Good lesson for life. That carries through everything as far as I know. Well, how many schools are we talking about being here on the 26th?
Well, there'll be 5 schools plus Spirit Lake.
Right.
So we're going to have Sergeant Bluff Luton, Bishop Heelan from Sioux City, Lamar's, Sioux Center, and Sheldon. So this site on the 26th is just for Class 3A for the schools that were needing a place to go.
Right.
Anyway, in Northwest Iowa.
Yeah.
And so even though we have a couple of other Northwest Iowa schools that are 3A that are really close to where we're at, they've been assigned to a different site.
Okay, and the types of, you mentioned with the them playing their instruments, also vocal, and there was one other...
Strings.
Strings, yes.
Yep. And there'll be a multitude of things. If you're a music lover or appreciator of music, or you just like to support the young people of our community and other communities, there's going to be no shortage of things. Everything from vocal and instrumental solos on every voice part and every instrument, to duets on every voice part and mixed voice parts, mixed instruments, ensembles of all kinds, trios, quartets, double trios, triple trios, madrigal choirs, small chamber choirs, brass choirs, flute choirs.
Right.
Everything that really is possible will probably happen that day. At some moment.
Collection, yes.
At some moment.
At some moment. Now, where did the judges come from?
They're coming from all over. It's a pretty diverse lot. The closest one is from a neighboring school district in Sibley. But the farthest one away is coming, must be, I think, is a string professor at Northern State University in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
So these are non-partisan judges.
Yep.
You won't be judging your own kids.
No,
and,
the Iowa High School Music Association is really good about that. They have a sanctioning process that all their adjudicators go through, and they make sure to bring outside people that would be objective into that. So I feel good about that.
Very good. And of course, I've heard, well, one of your accompanist here, you got several that come in and work with the kids and during the time leading up, and you also, I mean, and that's great, volunteerism, but you could use more for this event.
Yep, thank you for segueing into that. So yeah, we're looking for people that are interested in making a contribution to help this day happen. As I said, we're going to have 7 centers that day. Each center needs 2 people on our behalf as the host school to make it operate all day. And right now, the way that I have that set up in terms of the scheduling is hopefully we would have the same 2 people for the morning shift, which is approximately 8 o'clock to noon, and then one for an afternoon shift from about 1 to 5.
Okay.
So we need 2 people for every performance center, and then we need 1 person because every performance center has a warm-up room. That's separate, so that when you're trying to get ready for your amazing performance that's about to happen, you're not doing it amongst 600 other people that are also warming up in the gym.
Yeah.
So realistically, we're going to need 21 people for the morning and 21 people for the afternoon. Just to make that work. Plus, we're looking for some people to help with concessions that day, and so, the jobs aren't hard, but they're essential.
Very essential, and from my experience, 200 years ago when I was in high school, just having those people who were from there that, okay, you need to go and tell where the room was, and just very simple things, but it helps the whole day go smoother.
Absolutely, and as I'm sure anyone listening to this can appreciate, if you've ever performed although I'm sure all the performers will be as prepared as they can be that day, it's a stressful deal, and they want to sound their best, and so just having nice, calm people to run each room and be able to answer their questions as best they can, and it just makes everything work better.
Do parents come? I mean, are they welcome to come in and watch?
In fact, this particular event is the only one that I'm aware of that the High School Music Association does where there's not actually a formal admission fee.
Oh, okay.
There will be a free will donation, which does go to the Iowa High School Music Association, and just they're paying for the judges. They're paying for the many piano tunings that we'll be having done between now and then, and all those types of things. But it shouldn't be cost prohibitive for anybody to come. So we're certainly encouraging our parents of our students to be there, but we also want the community at large to know that they are welcome to come too.
Very good. If people would like to volunteer, they want to find out more about the contest, contact you, or what's the best way to find out?
Yeah, you could certainly email me at my email address, which I'm sure Jeff can put into this for you.
Absolutely, like magic.
Or you're welcome to call the high school. Our number is 712-336-3707, and just ask for the band director's extension or the choir director's extension, and we can give you more information.
Outstanding. All right, my friend. Well, thank you for taking. He's between solo practices right now, so he's squeezed me in, which I appreciate very much.
We always have time for you.
I appreciate that very much, Tyler. Thanks for being with me.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Tyler Pedersen, again, the band director here, Spirit Lake High School, and coming up here on the 26th, it is the Iowa High School Music Association's solo and ensemble contest going on. If you're able to help, certainly would appreciate it. We thank Tyler for his time. We thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by the Scott Troutman State Farm Agency in Spirit Lake, Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Ruthven Locker at the Lake, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.